Cool. So this is the format, and thanks everyone for joining. And I just wanted to talk about the generative AI update specifically in the AWS ecosystem because AWS is investing a lot in this space, and we need to understand about generative AI, how these hyperscalers are using it. And just you guys can hear me clear, right? Let me put the mic. Is it good? My voice? Just give me a. I think I think it is good. Cool. So about me, most of you know I am Mohammad Arshad. I have been a data scientist, worked in Accenture Consulting for 8 years, total experience of 19 years. Came to Dubai for a project, and then I made Dubai my home, associated with Ministry of UAE AI office, and also doing a startup that is into consulting, academy, and community. So that is about me, and I've inspired 1,000+ learners across my journey and helping them, businesses as well as learners, how to adapt with AI and how to take it as a career or as a business. So regarding the updates about the generative AI ecosystem from Amazon, so we all know that the main stuff that is required to do generative AI is the infrastructure. So when I talk about infrastructure, AWS has already a very good infrastructure. They have a lot of GPUs. They have a lot of Trainium is their processors that are there, and they have SageMaker, Ultra Cluster. So they have a very, very good architecture. When I say infrastructure, and for the FM is also called as a foundation model. In our terms, large language models, AWS calls it as foundation models. So this architecture is very good for AWS. It has been there for the last 20 years, and they are building upon this capability. For one of the main products, if you see about AWS regarding generative AI, is Amazon SageMaker. Many of you might have heard about this. It is also used a lot to build, train, and deploy ML models at scale. Now, foundation models also at scale. It is very flexible. You can do automatic fine tuning and distributed training. It is very good for responsible AI as well. So SageMaker is a very, very important part of this ecosystem. Now what? Some of the AWS's generative AI success stories that are there. When I say about success stories, how has some of the clients of AWS have used the generative AI? One of the major clients, if you know about AWS, and one of the success stories that AWS talks about is the TII. If you all know, just put in the chat if you have heard about Falcon. It is a large language model that was trained by using the AWS processors. 3,000 GPUs is something what they are telling, and it has petabytes. So petabytes is more than even a 10 to the power. I don't know how much it is. It is the highest type of data that is there. Someone can put it on the chat exactly how much 10 to the power 29 or more than 9 or something gigabyte, zettabyte. It is something more than zettabyte also, stored in S3. So they are claiming that the web crawler data, all the data that has been scrapped from the internet, has been stored in S3 while they had done this training that TII has trained this 180 billion, which is still the biggest model till date, and it was successfully done by AWS. Hugging Face, we all know about Hugging Face. Many of us are doing workshops in Hugging Face. So Paul has written, he has written this. Thank you, Paul, for the exact definition about that. Hugging Face, we all know, it's amazing. It is using AWS for lot of deep learning containers and everything, right? And lot of big clients, big success stories of AWS like PGA Tour, Booking.com, Merck. They are using this technology, and they are big and they are using it. But now what for us? What if all of us here, they want to just access the best model out there, right? What can happen? What is the best way to do that? So for that, AWS has one more layer, right? And we will talk, like every one of us, when we want to use these type of models, right? We have a lot of questions. Most of you will have this question: which model should I use? Right? That is a question that all of you might have asked to AWS or any consultant that you're working with. how can I move quickly? How can you build a prototype quickly, quick to the market, right? How you can do something quick and something fast. Then how can I keep, this is the most important question for all the companies, right? Because your data is important for you. It has to be secured, it has to be private. You don't want to share it, and you don't want to get the vulnerabilities out there. So this is very, very important. All these three questions are being answered by AWS third layer, the second layer that is there, that is called Amazon Bedrock. So this is a solution that has allowed to build with foundation models and large language models. This is a second layer sitting over the infrastructure that I already showed you, the SageMaker, the GPUs, the Trinanium, the all the EC2 blocks, everything that is there. Over this, we have something called as a bedrock, which has majorly three important things that I'm going to talk about: guardrails, agents, and customization. But this forms a wonderful platform for us to have a plethora of choice, which I'm going to talk about choosing the model. So we all know that every AWS is giving all the users a big choice of the data that is they want to use. When I say big choice, as you can see, AI 21, Anthropic is one of the biggest partners. Cohere, they are the first hyperscalers to integrate Llama 2 within their ecosystem. Stability AI, they have a lot of stuff in the image model, plus their own local model LLM that they are building, that is the Amazon Titan, which I'm going to talk about in details in the next few slides. Few of the new things that they are introducing: the Llama 2, the new Llama 2 70 billion parameters, which is the larger version, and Cloud 2.1, the latest model that is there, which has 20,000 token context window. You can put a three novels, 200 pages novels, three of them in this particular context window and get an output. How big it is, right? So these are some of the new foundation models that you have a choice of when you are working with Bedrock. Coming to the third layer, the application layer, right? They have introduced, many of us, they are not data scientists, they are not software developers, but still they want to use these capabilities, right? They are AWS users, they are coders, or they want to use this for some of their activities. Some of the wonderful applications is Amazon Q. It is available in their ecosystem. It is just like a chat GPT for the AWS tools. You can ask them, what is my billing cycle, how to reduce my bill on this particular instance, what security features should I add. So these are some of the things that you can ask the this particular Amazon Q, and it is going to give you. You know about Amazon Q, in there is something called as Amazon Quick Insights. Quick Insights is like a dashboard, like Power BI, wherein you can have a question to the dashboard, like what was the sales in the last 2 years for this particular category, and it is going to give it to you without any coding that you need to require. And also we have Code Whisper. How many of you have know about Copilot, the GitHub Copilot that is there? Something similar, we have Amazon Code Whisper. And one thing good about Amazon Code Whisper is, you whatever IDs you're using, like Visual Studio Code, JetBrains, these IDs have a plugin that you can install called Amazon or AWS Toolkit. In AWS Toolkit, all these facilities are available which you can use. So these three layers are the generative AI stack for AWS that is currently, they are talking a lot. They talked about this a lot about reInvent, which is an annual event that they have released for their customers, about what all is there for you, a plethora of choice for you to focus on the business that is there. Now coming to Code Whisper, which I was telling you, an alternative for Google GitHub Copilot. What is GitHub Copilot? AI pair programming. A person who is going to help you along your journey of coding. It is going to, when you're typing the code, it will complete the code for you. It will comment the code for you, give you documentation, complete the class that you are writing, and all those things that are available. Visual Studio, it is available in preview, and all the other, for not only Python but all the other languages that are there. So this is very, very good thing, not only in the AWS ecosystem but also in the different IDs that I mentioned. Amazon Q is also one of the chatbots that I just talked about. They have used a lot of data to create it, and it is an assistant in your different AWS applications that are there. So these are some of the basic things that are there at the application layer. Now I will talk about Titan model. Amazon Titan is an LLM, high performing LLM or foundation model from Amazon. Why they take pride in this is because they have 25 years of track record in AI and ML, lot of data, lot of normalized data that they have, that they are using. It supports a variety of use cases. AWS clients are across different verticals, right? So they have a lot of variety of use cases which they are supporting. And also one thing that they take pride is indemnity of covering the third party IP claims. We all know that OpenAI is facing a lot of issues with IP issues, cloud issues, copyright issues. So they are claiming that they are free from all these things, because everything is their own data that is in S3 that they are using to train the Titan model. They are not just scraping the internet like the way others are doing. So this is what they're claiming. More details will come as the documentation comes up for Titan. They are doing a plethora of models. They have lot of models under their belt, right? They have the first model that they have, the text embedding model, which helps in the text to numerical. Then they have the summarization model, the text light, Titan text light, which is summarization, copyright, and fine tuning. Titan express for open-ended generation. And they also have multimodal embedding for search, recommendation, and personalization. So these are all the different plethora of models that are available. Okay. Then this is a new thing that they have added, is also about the image generator that is there. If you're not speaking, can you please be on mute? Let me just control, just give me 1 second. Let me just finish this, then I will carry on. Okay. So now what is happening is these are the foundation models that are there. Now we know that there is so much data, there is so much foundation models, so much capabilities that are there. Now we will take it, we will take it one step further. How can we derive more value for a business? We already have so many large language models, so many foundation models that we talked about, but how can companies derive value, right? Businesses, I'm talking about, not us using ChatGPT to write a poem or write a LinkedIn post. That is not a value for any business. Value of a business will come from customization. How we can customize the large language model with, how can we customize it? Any guesses from the community? We will customize it with your data. So this is the whole cycle that we have to work with, and that is where data scientists like me, like people in the room who are data scientists, they bring value to the table. How you can derive more value for a business. The large language models are there. AWS, Facebook, Llama 2, they have built it for you and they have kept it. But how can we use this for our own benefit, customizing it with our data to create the ecosystem? This is where the big gap is right now. People think that large language model alone, buy a foundation model or get access to a foundation model or large language model, you are done. You just ask the chat GPT or any co-pilot to give you an answer, you will get it. That will not be valuable unless you customize it as the way I'm showing it to you here. Right. So what options of customization do you have? So you all know what the three options of customization are. Fine tuning. So today we had a session. I think there were few people in the community, David, Divya, who attended this event. I have Yasir also joined. Thank you, Yasir, for joining in. And these are some of the things that we already know. I don't want to go in the technicality of fine tuning, but fine tuning is basically you're pointing the large language model to your local data instances and modifying the embeddings according to your local data, so that more preferences is given to your local data for any of the generation of responses. The second option is retrieval augmented generation, RAG. So Isham had done a session, if you guys remember, retrieval augmented generation using Gemini. So many of you attended that. So we are doing workshops bit by bit, right? We are trying to cover small parts because the whole ecosystem is huge. So we are trying to do small things, but you should connect the dots. So retrieval augmented is how we can use your knowledge base with the foundation model to give a better response. The knowledge base will be your company data, your proprietary data, which you don't want it from the internet, right? Which is yours. The last is, this is something extra that AWS is doing, because there is lot of unstructured data, right? There is lot of unstructured data. They have to continuously pre-train, like Llama 270B is right now done, right? New models have to be released, so they are doing continuous pre-training of the large language models to create new and better versions of their large language models. So these three things have to be done to make sure that you are relevant and you are getting proper information. So in summary, these three, just take a screenshot, because of this I will not be able to share these slides with you all, because this is a AWS proprietary, but I can just take a screenshot of this as well. So these three are the things that you have to have: fine tuning, retrieval augmented, and continuous pre-running. These are the customizing capability of your AWS bedrock that is there. This is very important. So we all have to work on one or the other part to make sure that things are working fine. So these are the capabilities, and now we will take one use case of a company called Delta Airlines, which is AWS Silver Diamond client. They wanted to use this foundation models. They have they are working for AWS for 10 plus years. They have all their data in S3 buckets. Now they want to use foundation models, right? What they can do, first thing they can do is what? They can create a chatbot where customers can ask about whether the FAQs, right? Whether can I carry my cat to Jamaica, or any very basic level things about a chatbot. This they can easily do, right? They can easily use any of the chat engines like Llama 2 or any inferences and just do it, right? They just connect it with their FAQs and they will get that in opportunity. That is one way to start with, right? But Delta wanted to do something more. What they wanted to do is they wanted to integrate their supply chain with these AI bots, wherein if there is any maintenance component that has to be pre-ordered according to some of the services that are there, that they can be done. Any flight maintenance stuff, any the number of passengers, trying to predict the number of passengers and the number of the routes that are there, right? Optimizing the routes, maybe you doing a lot of things that is connected to their traditional data, plus the generative AI capability that is there, right? More of personalization of these services for a particular client. Like a client travels at a particular time in the, just giving a very example, right? His parents' birthday. So these type of things, he is traveling, so they know that this person is going to travel and he's going to book a flight. Should he book in United or Delta? So before he plans only 1 or 2 months in advance, they will give him a personalized offer. Very specific things that they wanted to do using the local data and the generative AI, where they can more hyper personalize the message and send it to him, right? Like looking forward for your travel to XYZ. This is a coupon code for you, or special gift, or whatever it is, right? These are some of the things that they wanted to do. How will they do that? Again, going back to the slide, they are using Bedrock large language model. They are customizing by these three things: fine tuning, RAG, and continued pre-training on the existing data in their S3 bucket. And this is how they are being able to do it. And the three things, how they will do it, And this is one of the things many of you who have attended our LangChain sessions know, that for doing activities in this space, there is one thing that is very important. Like example, I'll just give you. If you are want to book a ticket in Delta, you ask the GPT that I want to book a ticket from New York to Chicago in February 15th. When you put this is going to go in an inference. Then they are going to understand the question, right? What is the from, where, what is the destination, what is the origin, what is the date of the travel. Then it is going, that information is going to get collected, and that is going to be converted as an API call, and it is going to be sent to the server where this Delta has the flight, right? Whatever server they are using for the information of the flights, right? They will have a real-time tracking of the flights of these companies. Just like example, I'm just giving a very crude example. So for that, what we require is, how can these large language models takes action? How can they take this information like origin, from, the time, and push it to the agent to get the information, whether the what are the flight options, what are the timings of the flight, what are the price of the flight, to the server, to the backend server, to the aggregator, or to Expedia, or whatever it is, right? The who is collecting all this information. Just taking an example, if it is Expedia, it is going to go to Expedia, take all the information of Delta Airlines, push it back, get that information. So what, how it is possible to do that? Here we have agents. Many of you, LangChain, you know agents. We work with Wikipedia agent, math agent, so many agents we work with, right? So Google search agent. So those are these are the agent. Expedia agent also we work with in one of our workshops. I think you can have a look at our outcome-based workshop. The one of them we also looked at Expedia. So these are the things that are introduced already in Bedrock. These agents that I just talked about, that enable the AI application to take action in just a few clicks. I think this Monday, when Yasir is going to have a session on custom GPT, he is going to talk more about actions. So actions is also one type of agents that are there. That is very, very interesting. So coming to, these are some of the things that they have already introduced that I'm telling you. How it works, same way. It takes the information from the foundation model, like origin to which date, pushes it to the proper API, gets the information, and the task is completed. So the same way, they are doing it end to end. They are taking care of your request and getting the information from the third party API. Now we have the most important thing for knowledge base. How is the knowledge base getting stored? We all know about vector DB. We talked about ChromaDB, Pinecone. So these are the way where your text data is stored in numbers, because end of the day, data is stored in numbers, and it is stored in a similar data is stored in a similar place, as I will show you here. All the stuffs related to a dog and to animals is stored at this particular space. So they are all stored at one particular area which is close by each other. We call it similarity search, similarity. So everything is there. So whenever you want to pick something from that area, it is going to take it from there. And how this is being possible? By the power of vector databases and embeddings. I will not go in details. We had some workshops that talked about vector DB and embeddings. Do look at the outcome based workshop. I think it is this. It was 2 months back. Now coming to Amazon has something called as a document DB, which does vector support, which helps in storing, indexing, and searching millions of vectors. And the best thing that they are claiming, it is in milliseconds response time, right? It is very fast and very quick. So this is one thing that are there. Now, other than document DB, they are supporting various vector databases. Many of this you might have known, like Pinecone. I use Pinecone a lot. And MongoDB is coming soon. Amazon Aurora is there. So these are other vector databases. You can use any vector databases according to your comfort, whichever works for you, but they have an option for you to use any one of them according to your application. Now, most important thing, many of the businesses, they come and ask me, so Arshad, everything is fine. Is my data going to be secure and private, and how I can ensure that the chatbot is not going to tell something that is wrong, that is harmful, that is unexpected, that is irrelevant, that will cause issue for my brand, not to talk about any of my competitor, or not talk about anything that is going to harm my brand. How is it possible, right? The simple answer that AWS tells that everything you expect from an AWS service. If you trust AWS service, if you are using AWS, they take responsibility that these generative AI, if you are using the whole ecosystem, they will take care of something. How they will take care? By a new feature called as guardrails. What is guardrails? Guardrails is like a control other than the safety and security. All of you, when we did a Gemini workshop last month, you remember they had control parameter on safety, precaution, and harmful content. If it is on high, right? If you have put those um, uh, checkpoints as high, you ask them any question that is irrelevant or anything harmful, it is going to break. Not like ChatGPT, which will hallucinate and give you an answer, right? How to steal a bank. If you ask ChatGPT, it will give you something right now. Before 3.5 will still give you, 4 will not give you, but Gemini will stop. Why? Because they have something called as a guardrails. So AWS is calling it guardrails, where you can easily configure harmful content to make sure that your agents of foundation model will only give you relevant outputs. Very good example, right? Suppose you are chatting to a customer chatbot, you don't want it to give PII information about you on the chat itself, right? Because that is risky. All the PII information should not be given, should not be transacted, or anything irrelevant for what you are talking about. It should not do that. So these are some of the very simple use cases. Whenever we do workshops, we always tell that we need to make a chatbot which will not break. When I say which will not break, if there is any error, if there is any issue, it is going to stop. It is not going to answer something, right? So this is what guardrails does, and this makes sure that your data is safe and secure. That is very, very important for every company, right? So what next? So what next? You have heard about all these amazing stuffs about generative AI. If you are a beginner, if you are do look at something called as an Amazon Party Rock. So we had a session by Yasir. I think Yasir is in the call. It was a very great session. The community really enjoyed Party Rock, and we what is Party Rock? It is a way to explore, create, and share, and no coding is required, right? And this is a start for every one of you to explore how does the foundation models work. Experiment with it, how prompts work, taking input from one prompt, prompt, putting it in another prompt, combining the output. Not only text, images also are there, right? So first step is, if you guys are new, and it is a very good way for you to start prototyping your generative AI application. So I personally created a LinkedIn bot wherein you give the topic, the audience, the writing style, the tone, the hashtags. It is going to create a wonderful post for you, which with an image that is related to the topic that you are asking for. So you have a complete LinkedIn post by just putting 5 entries, 5 or 6 entries. This is one of the use case that I built. Many of the community members build a lot of use cases. Yasir himself built more than 10 plus party rocks, and it is amazing. So first try to experiment with this. Also, the workshop recording is there. Plus, uh, I have also put a video, 20 minutes video on how I created that LinkedIn bot that I talked about. Do scan this. I have already shared this multiple times in the group, but if you guys are coming from LinkedIn or from Meetup, and if you're not part of the nas.io/artificial intelligence community, do scan this. This is a video that I had done, and join the community as well and learn about this. Try to make your own AI app, no code. Start with this. At least you get a good idea. And then whatever we do, we learn a lot step by step about different things. And that is what we can do as well, right?